everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jessica Freck. I'm the Technical Content Manager here at Mozenda, and today's webinar is really special because we're talking about one of our new features, the Request Blocker 3.0. The reason why we're calling this the Request Blocker 3.0 is because this is the third version of one of our best features that really makes Mozenda Mozenda. So while I give everyone a minute to jump online here, I'm going to introduce Alexandra, our Customer Success Manager. She'll be leading our webinar. She's really great at explaining the Mozenda tool and how it works. So I will let her take it from here. And don't forget to leave your questions in the chat, and she will answer those at the end of the webinar.
Hi everyone, glad to be here today and to be able to go over this awesome feature. It's one of my favorite features because of the incredible benefits that we're able to get from it. So let's start off by reviewing what is request blocking. So when a web page loads, there are several different requests for things to be loaded, such as the actual document itself, ads, analytics, images, all sorts of stuff. Now, not all of these requests are necessary to be able to get the data that you're wanting. In fact, most of the requests are unnecessary, such as the images, the ads, the analytics. Those are not necessary to be able to retrieve the data that you're wanting. The request blocking feature allows us to cut down on the amount of requests being loaded on each page. Now, previous to this update, request blocking was scaled to only one level of request blocking. It was very basic. It just blocked the ads and the analytics. And if you wanted to get more aggressive with your request blocking, you were required to delve a little bit deeper into the requests and possibly even write your own expressions to be more aggressive in your request blocking. But now you are able to go through 4 different levels of request blocking that up the aggressiveness each time. And it's much easier and less time consuming. With these 4 levels of request blocking, you're able to customize the requests being blocked in an agent much quicker, and that saves you time and effort. Now, here at Mozenda, we're all about getting your data in the most efficient possible way. And we know that the quickest way from point A to point B is a straight line. However, most of the time when we're doing our data retrieval, it looks like the image on the left. There's lots of different things and obstacles. The road isn't as straight as we would hope. With the previous feature of request blocking, we would have to go in one by one and remove the light post, then a tree, then a house, one by one. And eventually we would be able to get the data that we wanted. However, it took a little bit longer. But now, with the 4 different levels of request blocking, we can simply say, remove all of the light posts, remove all of the trees, then remove the house, and lastly, straighten the road. And eventually, our data retrieval will look like the image on the right. Now, we noticed from the previous page that the 2 paths look a little bit different. However, we're still able to get the data that we need. This is an agent that was built on MBA.com, and this is what it looks like without any request blocking. We'll notice that there's a picture, there's an ad at the top, there's several other things going on in the agent, which can be a little bit distracting, as well as there's a lot of requests. But we'll notice that we're getting the data just fine. We're getting the headline and the headline URL. Now this next screenshot is that same agent, but now the level 4 request blocking is enabled. It looks quite a bit different. However, we are still able to get the data. The headline and the headline URL are identical in this run of the agent versus the run of the agent without any request blocking. But it is much faster and more efficient. Now, the magnitude of your aggressiveness is up to you. The more aggressive with request blocking you are, the greater the reward for faster and more efficient data retrieval. However, the risk of retrieving inaccurate data increases with the increase in level of request blocking. So you can start at the lowest level and you can increase until you find that balance between aggressiveness and accurate data retrieval. You can start at the most conservative, level 1, and go to level 2, all the way up to level 4, which is the most aggressive that you can be. You just need to find that balance between aggressiveness and accurate data retrieval. So let's go ahead and jump into the tool. Here is that agent that was built on MBA.com. Now, the reason that we're using MBA.com is because it is a site that has tons of different requests going on. And at first glance, it can be a little bit distracting, as well as it can be quite a slow agent. But with the different levels of request blocking, we can remove those requests that are slowing it down and be able to get our data more efficiently. So first, let's review how you find the navigation request window. The default windows that are shown when you open the agent builder are this captured text preview as well as our fields window. Now there's two ways to open up the navigation request window. One of them is to come over to this blue header that contains captured text preview and right click on it and click on navigation requests. We'll see that that navigation request window is now available. The second way to find the navigation request window is to go up here to File, Windows, and make sure that box next to navigation requests is checked. Then we hit Save. So now that we're able to see all the different requests that are going on, and we're able to as well change the levels of request blocking. We'll notice that there's already 872 requests on this single page, which adds up as you're loading several different pages. Now, we always recommend building your agent all the way through before you start applying any kind of request blocking. And the reason for this is that when you reach that highest level of request blocking that you desire, the website can look a lot different than what it looks like right now. As we saw from those screenshots, the agent the site when it was stripped down to one single request looked a lot different. And so it can be difficult to try and build your agent on a stripped down site. So make sure that you build your agent all the way through, as well as test it to be able to compare the data accuracy between the levels of request blocking. So let's start out with our first level of request blocking, which is the most conservative. The way that you change your request blocking level is to go up here to File, then go to Settings. Make sure to check the box next to request blocking. Then we can move our slider up to level 1, which is the standard request blocking. We'll hit Save. And then we'll go ahead and test it to make sure that with this level of request blocking, we are still getting accurate data. Now, what this level is doing is for every request being loaded, it will be checked against a list of certain requests that have been deemed unnecessary, such as ads, analytics, other junk requests. And if the request is found on the block list, then it will not be allowed through. So once we have tested the agent on that level of request blocking, we will check the testing results. And we see here that the headline and the headline URL are still being captured accurately. And if we go over to our navigation requests, we'll be able to see the kinds of requests that have been blocked with the level 1 of auto blocking. We see an analytics ad. We also see another ad request being blocked. Simply those requests that have been deemed to be unnecessary. Now, because this level of request blocking is the most conservative, we always recommend at least having this level enabled on all of your agents. It may only block a few requests, but simply by blocking those few requests can speed up your agent a lot, especially when you're loading hundreds of thousands of pages. By simply removing those requests for each page, the benefits increase greatly. So since we got good data with level 1, let's go ahead and try it out with level 2. So again, we go up here to File and click on Settings. Then we'll move our slider to level 2 and we'll hit Save. Let's go ahead and test that. So what this is doing is for every request, it will be checked to see if it is from a third party or external domain. So any request that comes that is not from MBA.com or the hosted domain will be blocked. So we notice that with the level 2 of request blocking, we're still able to get the headline and the headline URL accurately. If we go over to our navigation requests tab, we'll see that all requests from a domain other than MBA.com are being blocked. Only the requests that are from MBA.com are the ones that are coming through. So it blocked a lot more than the level 1, and we'll notice that it went a little bit faster when we were testing. We're getting good, better efficiency out of the agent. So let's go ahead and go up to level 3. Since we're still getting accurate data, we can see we can try to be more aggressive. So again, we go up to File and Settings. We can move that slider down to level 3. We'll hit Save. And we'll go ahead and test it. Now, level 3 takes a bit of a different approach than levels 1 and 2. Levels 1 and 2 are looking at where the requests are coming from and what kind of requests they are. Level 3 is looking at when the request occurs. So now that the testing is done, we'll notice that we're getting good results, accurate results still. Headline and headline URL look good. Let's go ahead and look at our navigation requests. So when the request for the document or the data has reached a ready state, all requests after that point will be blocked, no matter what domain they're from. So all of these requests, MBA.com, CloudFront, Google APIs, occurred before the request for the document hit the ready and complete state. So we keep scrolling down. Right here is where the document request hit the ready state. And every request after this has been blocked, no matter what domain it's from doubleclick.net all the way, it's even including MBA.com. So again, every request after the ready event state of the document request is blocked, no matter what domain it's from. So since we're still, again, getting good and accurate data, let's up our aggressiveness to the highest level, which is level 4. So we'll go up here to File and Settings, and we'll move our slider down to level 4 and hit Save. Then we'll need to test it to make sure that we're still going to get accurate data. And notice how quickly the data was captured. It was much, much quicker than any of the other levels. And the reason for this is because level 4 request blocking only allows the one request for the document to come through. We'll notice that all requests, except for this first one right here, MBA.com, were blocked. Now, not all sites will work with level 4 request blocking. Some sites will require other requests besides the initial document request to be able to load the data. That's why it's important that you go through each level one by one and test them individually to make sure that with that aggressiveness of request blocking that you will still be able to get good data. And like we said, with even the first level of request blocking, you can get great benefits by just blocking those few requests, especially if you are trying to capture tons of data and loading lots of pages. And with this request blocking, your agent will not only be faster and more efficient, but it'll be much more stable. With the removal of junk requests that could possibly take long to load, your agent will hit less errors. As well, it will require less restarts. And by not going into those error states, your agent will be more efficient, and it will also increase in stability. You'll be able to get your data faster and in the manner that you want to.
So it looks like we have a few questions. I'm going to send these to Alexandra. If you want to send in more, feel free to do that right now. And I'll have Alexandra answer this first one. The question is, if I've added lots of request blocking, but then I need to add another capture, how do I remove the request blocking without ruining my agent?
So that's a great question. That actually is a very simple thing that you can do. We'll notice right here that this blue box is surrounding the auto block. That means it is enabled. If you need to turn it off for some reason, you can click on it, disable it, and then you can reload the page. And it will look the exact same as it does without any request blocking. And you can go ahead and add the capture that you have missed. Once you add that capture, then you can again enable your auto block by clicking on it, and it will have that blue box around it, and you'll be good to go.
Okay, it looks like we have one other question. This one is, if I'm capturing images, will adding request blocking not allow me to download images?
Yeah, so it can be a little bit confusing. We'll notice with the level 4 request blocking, none of the images are being shown on the page. However, the capture image and download image actions are all done from inside the HTML. So even if the images are not visible, they are still in the HTML and are still able to be captured and downloaded.
Okay, that is all the questions we have. If you have more questions after this webinar, feel free to email webinar@mozenda.com, and then we'll get someone to answer those for you. And just so you're aware, this Request Blocker 3.0 is available for all plans. And if you're still trying to figure out where you need to start when it comes to web data scraping, just give us an email at the same email, and we'll kind of guide you on where to start and how to begin your web data scraping project. But that is it for now. I will be sending this out to everyone in case you want to rewatch it, re-go over it, send it to a partner or a coworker. And I hope everyone has a great day.